You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Welcome to Oilersnation Radio, episode 57. As always, I want to start off by thanking our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant for making all this possible. Go ahead and follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford_the Giant. Daniel, what is going on in October?
It is Scare Hunger Month at Sherwood Ford. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be bringing down your food donations to the folks at Sherwood Ford on Broadmoor Boulevard in Sherwood Park, Alberta. And you're going to help them scare away hunger from the Strathcona Food Bank. And so that's the big thing this month. The Nation truck will be out there helping them load that food over to the Strathcona Food Bank.
Another big thing is that Frank versus Gus is rolling on. My boy is undefeated at 4-0, whereas Gus is 1-3. Unlucky.
I had a question about this. So this is year 2 or 3?
This is
Two.
about 2.5. I started doing it at the end of the year 2 years ago.
Do you think there's a chance that since Frank sees the Oilers logo 82 times a year and not the other team's logos, that now he's just going to go to the Oilers one every single time?
No,
No, he didn't. Though.
No.
We're 4-0 and he's 1-3.
Frank?
no, Frank's 4-0.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, you think
He
Frank
doesn't always
has
pick
seen
the Oilers
logo?
He doesn't always pick the Oilers.
I'm wondering though, like maybe this year it's like triggered in him because like.
How dare you call shenanigans on my dog?
Well, no, I'm just it's an observant.
No, he sees the treat. He sees the treat. He can't see the.
Yeah, I guess he can't really see the logo.
He can't read, Tyler.
He can sense the logo, but he
Yeah.
goes for the treat. And he goes,
Okay.
No, it's that treat. I know that treat. Why? Because that's Connor's treat.
Today we have got a very special Mary Brown's pop-in. Do I read this whole thing?
Well, yeah, you gotta. That's an ad read.
All right. Today we've got a very special Mary Brown's pop-in with bite-sized morsels of 100% breast meat, chicken coated in Mary's seasonings, and served hot, crispy, and oh so yummy. Choose Thai for a kick of sweet heat topped with some sesame seeds. You love that, don't you, Tyler?
Yep.
Absolutely. Today's Mary Brown's pop-in is the one and only Ryder from Power 107. He is here. He just got off the air a little bit ago. He has come to our podcast studio, which is very similar to what he's used to working in. Thank you for being here, my friend.
You're welcome. Actually, I live right beside a Mary Poppins, so I'm
Mary Poppins?
Mary Brown's.
Mary Brown's.
I've popped into Mary Brown's. You guys didn't let me
You
finish.
rode your umbrella in there.
I live right next to a Mary Brown, so I know they're Poppins well.
There you go. Nice. Nice.
They are
Question
delicious.
question about a dog rider, because you do have a very famous dog on Instagram.
Gordon Marshmallow.
Gordon Marshmallow. Yeah. We were just talking about dog psyche. Does Gordon go to the Oilers logo too?
I haven't tested that
Okay.
out yet.
All right.
Like he's a dog, right? So I don't
I
understand.
feel like you can figure it out.
I don't understand the hype around that.
Really?
Like the eating the treats on the pictures thing. It just seems.
Yeah, but it's like the degenerate gamblers. They need to know who to pick, but they don't. They want to blame somebody other than themselves. So now they have a dog that will guide them home.
Do you remember Maggie the monkey from TSN?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally stole that
That's
idea.
where the bit came from.
I
I
just
didn't
turned
like
it into-
Maggie. The whole
Fair
Maggie
enough.
bit.
Fuck
I
the
don't really
monkeys.
like animals in general.
Speaking of picks, on my pregame podcast, I do a bet of the game from Bodog,
Yeah.
and I'm 0-4. I haven't
Nice.
gotten one right yet, so I'm waiting for people to start getting really mad at me.
There you go.
That's off on a tangent.
Speaking of really mad, you came in here like hot fire today.
I'd calm down a little bit. Ryder brought some OV beer, which I've never had before.
OV beer.
Old Vienna.
Old Vienna, hey?
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Why were you
reading the
mad?
box right now. Okay, well, first of all, I was happy when I first came in because we got this new fancy table with hockey sticks on it. It's very sturdy. It's a good height. It's going to look good on camera for 2 guys and a goalie, all that stuff. But I'm mad because they also, for some reason, brought in a second table that is not going to be on camera. And it's very high off the ground. It's too large. There's no room for me to sit. Everything was working fine on the table we had before, but now we have this massive fucking table that doesn't fit the Roadcaster properly, doesn't fit my mic. I now have to like awkwardly crane my body around to see you guys. It sucks, man. I want my old table back, but I feel bad. I'm not going to tell anyone to bring me my old table back.
We are pivoting
Because
to
this table looks nice and
late.
expensive.
We are pivoting to a Yaremchuk Rage Quit podcast.
Do you think,
I don't
though,
know, man.
that this larger, nicer table is going to go where the computers are and that one is going to be shifted over?
That would actually really fucking help. But I think this table's too wide to fit in here. And we have a pillar. We have a pillar in the middle of our podcast studio.
You guys know podcasting's like an audio thing, not a visual. So when you say the table over there, people are really confused. Right
Okay,
now.
so right now we've got a 2 tables going into a corner. The feng shui is not ideal here. However, we have a bunch of computers sitting on a table. There's another one where the Roadcaster is sitting on it. Tyler's very upset about the Roadcaster table because it is about, by eyeballing, I'm going to guess 5 inches higher than the other one.
Yeah, and the other issue I had is one day I came in and I spent an hour of my own time with a roll of hockey tape I got from Dan, taping all the cables so no one would trip over them. They were nice and clean and even, and I was like, all right, this finally looks good. And now there's balls of tape everywhere. The cables are fucking everywhere. And then someone, I don't know who it was like, oh man, we got to do something about these cables that are laying everywhere. Like, fuck, that was Nick. Like, are you kidding me? I did something about the cables and then someone undid something about the
Speaking of
cables.
which, I never did get my hockey tape back.
Yes, you did. I put it on the table upstairs, man.
Fired up.
Welcome to our show, Ryder.
Yeah,
This is,
thank you.
The height of professionalism.
I'm good now. I got it out of my system. Let's just talk some hockey. I know we're not going to talk a lot of hockey today, so whatever.
Is there anything else you want to complain about before we move on?
No, I'm excited to have Ryder here.
How was your commute into the office?
Oh, the lineup at Dairy Queen was fucking ridiculous, but that's a whole nother thing.
See, probably if you had only used podcast sponsor skipthedishes.ca, you probably could have gotten Dairy Queen delivered directly here.
Also, no one told me there's a wedding upstairs at Little Brick. So when I walked in, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just walked into these people's like wedding dinner. Then I went upstairs and Graham was like, hey, by the way, you got to go through the front door. Don't go through the back door because there's a wedding. I was like, well, no one told. I walked right in through the back door.
But you probably improved their wedding. They're probably like, hey, that's that guy from 1260.
One of the guys I played against in a like beer league hockey tournament over the summer, and me and him didn't get along well. And I recognized him. I was like, oh shit.
You guys should have taken a photo. It'd been nice.
Yeah.
I think I ended up in one of the photos carrying the box of Old Vienna.
Again, improving the experience on a Friday afternoon wedding. Again, I want to thank Ryder for being here. He is on Power Mornings with Ryder and Lisa on Power 107 from 5:30 to 9 o'clock. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at RyderFM.
Nailed
Last
it.
word on the podcast studio. I assume this is very similar to what you guys are running over at Power 107.
The only thing that's the same is the Adobe Audition you're recording. Everything else is cheaper here. Yeah.
Not even
If
cost
there is
effective.
one
just cheaper.
area you could improve, though, what would it be?
I'd like.
Like, what's the number one area I should be focusing on as I ask them for more money to spend on this?
I'd probably say like the stairs on the way down.
Oh, no, I can't do
And
that.
not feeling so murdery would be like, I don't know, put a
Not
vase.
feeling murdery. Do you not see the green screen with Scotch tape?
Right. That would probably be my first step.
I apologize that you're not going to leave this room.
That's what I feel like right now.
That was my plan all along. Tyler, I'm going to make you happy right now. We're going to talk about the Oilers, okay?
Hell yeah.
4-0.
I'm not that positive about them, but you go. You start.
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
We're going to give you the last word then on why the rest of us are wrong because we're having a good time enjoying ourselves.
Yeah, so am I. I'm really enjoying it.
So the Oilers are 4-0. They won a game last night against Jersey. Arguably, they should not have won.
Nope.
However, nobody asked how.
Ask how many.
You put those 2 points in your pocket and you move on.
Milk them.
Absolutely. Like a teat.
Yes.
That's what you wanted me to say. I know it.
No.
Okay. Why are you not positive about the Oilers, even though they're 4-0?
Well, no, like the 4-0 starts very positive, but to me, like this doesn't feel a lot different than last year. It's not like they're winning games and it's like, oh man, their bottom six is killing it and all this stuff. It's just more or less like the goaltending's good enough to get them by. Koskinen's been solid, and McDavid and Draisaitl are carrying them. The fact that they've had these comeback wins, you can look at that and go, yeah, it's great. They're showing, they're not giving up. They're showing that kind of compete level and that willingness to come back late in games. You could also sit there and be like, man, they're losing in all these games, and eventually they're not going to come back.
But they're still going. They're not stopping. Nothing's getting them down. With Neal's goals, I think you have to consider that as secondary scoring we didn't get last year. The bottom six is not getting scored on. I think the guys like Haas and the guys with speed out there, they're not being hemmed into their own zone. They're actually doing good on the offensive zone because with that speed, they're tiring out the other team. Our PK is looking great. The power play, I get it's unsustainable. But right now,
You take it when you can get it.
Exactly, right? So if the PK's taking a step forward, the power play's taking a step forward, I think the bottom six does look better. I think they're faster. I think the Jujar, Sheehan. I don't know if can everybody hear this? Because I think there might be bombs going off
Is
upstairs.
the wedding dance started upstairs?
It's a line dance. Oh, someone's got the polka going on up there.
Cotton Eye Joe is playing at the wedding upstairs.
The Sheehan and Caroline, they look really good. And I've said this for a while. Kara down low below the hash marks, you can't get the fucking puck off of him.
Yeah.
He plays his body positioning so well. Those guys, they're making minutes go down in the offensive zone. Last night, I remember getting the Connor line got run around in their own end for a bit.
Yeah, they weren't very good for some
The Connor
stretches in
line
that
will
game.
get going here, and if the rest of the team can keep just doing what they're doing right now, which is relatively average, this team's going to be in the playoffs.
And this is good enough to get them in the playoffs. The Avalanche basically did this for 82 games last year and went to the second round. Maybe negative isn't the right way to describe how I'm feeling because I am actually
You're
happy
guarded.
that they're 4-0, but I'm nervous.
You're guarded. You're protecting yourself because you've been disappointed 12 out of the last 13 years.
There you go.
I get it. But to echo what Rick is saying, we've got Ethan Bear, who has stepped up and is taking on a huge amount of minutes.
Yeah.
And is doing it better above replacement. You've got Pearson, who, is getting more comfortable as we go. You've got Matt Benning probably playing some of the best defense he's played in the last 2-3 years. It's from top down, there's been some positives from every level of it. And these are games that in the last 2 years we've been losing. We roll over and we die when Mike Smith goes and passes the puck twice to an LA King player and they score the goal. Instead, the guys are coming back. They're resilient. They're scoring the goals that their goalie needs. And our goalie is making the saves that they need to make at the time that they need to be made. Yes, Taylor Hall had some great plays in overtime, but also Koskinen stopped 2 pucks on him. It's so I think that I understand the being guarded, but it's okay to be positive too. Yes, the elephants are marching in upstairs. We have the full circus coming in.
What I like about the comeback wins so far is that I think a lot of teams, it takes a little bit of a losing streak in the season to build some grit, to have those eye contact moments like McDavid and Cassian had last night, where you're like, come on, like now or never. And we've managed to build that grit already this season, show that we can be resilient and, handle some tough waves. And we're 4-0. Which is, I think, fairly rare with those comebacks.
The thing I want to mention is, Ryder, you talked about it on the way down to the dungeon here, is the city, too, is just a nicer place when the Oilers are winning.
Awesome. Like the guy that was ordering coffee upstairs.
Yeah, he was jacked up with the Oilers.
He didn't know that we were all about to go into a podcast in a very scary dungeon. And was still just like, yeah, no, things are great, man. He wasn't even talking to us, but he was just jacked about the Oilers.
Pretty sure that was the groom, too.
Yeah, he probably should be talking about his wife instead, but... Yeah, no, it feels alive.
The sun is brighter.
We're winning, yeah.
The temperature is higher. Everything is good. There's less road rage out there. We've got the most construction we've ever had in the city of Edmonton, I think.
When I feel like even on our text line and whatnot, you just catch a way better vibe. There's like less complaints to the station. Callers seem like a better mood. And we're not particularly a sports-centric station, but there's just a vibe in the city.
What kind of... just in general, better text coming in, or sports specifically?
No, like just in general. It might be that it's the end of the week. Fridays, before a long weekend, you usually get good vibes, but no, it's just felt like the last couple of weeks we would have had, like, because even if, let's say, we have a female listener whose boyfriend's addicted to the Oilers, and he goes to bed grumpy and gets up grumpy, and she has to deal with his shit, and then she listens to our show, and we're, whatever, complaining about something, she's going to be angry. She's been dealing and surrounded with anger. You know what I mean? Or just poutiness. Whereas now it feels like every conversation I'm having with people, unless it gets political, is very positive right now.
It's fun. It's fun to think about how a sport that none of us really have anything to do with can turn us all into giant piss babies.
Yeah.
When the Oilers are bad, upstairs, we are so annoying to deal with.
Well, and you can tell by the way you guys write and stuff, too. You just seem like cranky, what did you call it? Piss babies?
Yeah, we're piss babies. We're all curmudgeons. Nick?
And all the comments underneath are piss babies, too, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Just to touch kind of on what Tyler's talking about with, what do you call it, guarded optimism, Dan. I'm going to be this guy. Rick kind of talked about it before we started recording, but the 5-on-5 scoring is a little concerning for the Oilers to start the year off. 29th right now in 5-on-5 Corsi. Now, take that with a grain of salt because it is 4 or 5 games in, and the Tampa Bay Lightning are 30th, right? So
Yeah, like it's 4 games.
I know, but I'm trying to support your point here, Tyler.
Yeah.
I'm trying to back you up, buddy.
I'm shitting on you.
I know. What else is new? All I'm saying though is the 2 things that we talked about going into the year that the Oilers had to improve on. Goal differential is up +6, and their penalty kill and their power play are both top 5. Again, not sustainable, but little things that this team has struggled with over the past decade plus are trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
Now the 5-on-5 has to improve, but
It'll get hot.
exactly, you got to hope that sort of balances out. But I mean, it is something to look at.
The other thing I want to add, me and Nick Laus made 2 very bold predictions before the season started. Nick said a top 10 PK. I said 30 goals for Zach Kassian, and they're both looking good.
I also made a bold prediction. Ryder put out a little bet for the city of Edmonton, I guess.
Yeah, it was just a beer bet on Twitter.
Yeah.
My boss tried to shut it down because he said it looked too much like a pyramid scheme.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Walk
fair.
us through it.
But the deal was you pick the winning team in the cup and who they'll beat in the final. And if you're right, I'll deliver a case of beer to your house. But if I'm right, anybody who makes a guess has to deliver beer to the radio station.
Which is where the pyramid comes in.
right.
That's fair.
So it's either I'm going to be dishing out maybe a case of beer or 2.
I think it's
right?
56 responses. that you
Right.
got.
But if I by chance am right, I have beer for, 2 weeks.
My 2 teams, though, just as a sidebar, my 2 teams is the Oilers over Carolina, who are the top 2 teams in the league right now. So,
When you said you should bring that beer now, I
Yes.
thought you meant just we're celebrating the 4-0 win. That's
Well,
why I
hey.
responded and said,
yeah, I was confused by your response, but
let's
hey,
have a
I'm not
beer
upset.
per win. And
Thank
then I
you.
saw your second tweet, and I
Yes.
was like, oh, that's what he meant.
Yeah,
Whatever.
fair enough. No, I like it. It was beautiful. Thank you for bringing the beer.
You know what else is beautiful, Dan? Our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant
They
out
are.
in Sherwood Park, Alberta. Go ahead, follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford, and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. As Dan mentioned, they are taking food donations right now. Tell us about us, Dan.
Well, yes. So we are trying to scare hunger away from the Strathcona Food Bank, and so they're going to be accepting donations, and I believe they're matching them as we go along through the month of October. And just one other note I wanted to make: the Nation truck. If you see the Nation truck out there on the streets and you take a photo of it, you tag us, you tag Sherwood Ford, and you put the hashtag Nation truck, you're entered to win a $100 gift card from our friends at Sherwood Ford. And just a small little note there too. We put up a post about it yesterday, but there was a family who had lost their grandfather, actually had just passed away before the season started, and they saw Jay in the Nation truck at the funeral where they were all wearing McDavid jerseys in honor of their grandfather, and they lost their minds. They were so excited to see the Nation truck. It's just neat to see that Nation truck and the power and excitement that it has, speaking to the excitement around the city. So thanks to Sherwood Ford for that, and remember to take a photo of them and be entered to win a $100 gas card every month from our friends at Sherwood Ford.
And if you see Jay driving around like a fool, I want to know about that too. Rat him out. I know snitches tend to get stitches, but in this case, I want to make fun of Jay for being a bad driver.
Truck looked a little dirty when I walked in today too.
It's
by the
true.
way.
He hasn't washed that in a while.
Like seriously, can we get him like a wash card or something like that? Somebody want to come down with a bucket of soapy water and a sponge or something? This thing needs to be clean.
I want to go.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, he will claim that the construction in the city is what's killing him.
I will claim that he's lazy.
Wash it every day.
What do you think about that, Jay? You said you had like a $3 wash system or something like that. I want to see it.
It's a $3 system at the Coin Wash. I've tried this. It does not work.
What's the system?
He $3. That's all he does. He uses the $3. So he jumps on the water and the soap combined right
Yeah,
away.
that's
There
what
is
you gotta
no
do.
rinsing.
No.
He gets into the soapy water right away. I think he brings out the soapy brush afterwards.
The foam brush.
And then the $3 has to be a quick rinse. I need to see this.
He can do it on the Nation truck?
I need to see this because I went in there. I have a Jeep Wrangler. It's not as big as the truck, and I tried doing a $3 wash. I didn't get it done. He said it was because I waited too long.
Maybe a Mazda Miata, you'd be able to.
Yeah, I don't know what's
$3
going
wash.
on here, but this $3 wash thing, I'm gonna call bullshit.
Maybe that's why the truck is so dirty right now, is that his $3 wash
Right.
ended halfway through.
Yeah, as soon as the $3 is up, he's like, and I'm done. Like still foam on it.
I want to go back to last night's game against New Jersey for a second, because as I mentioned earlier, I think that was a game that the Oilers were lucky to win based on how they played and how Jersey played. The biggest surprise for me was actually Connor's tying goal at the end of the game. The fact that that actually went our way,
Yep.
a little bit surprising, right, Tyler?
Yeah, I got a lot of shit today on the radio because people were like, Grumtrick's being fucking negative. Get him out of here, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, in years past...
not you.
Yeah. In years past, the Oilers probably don't get that call. But also, if that was flipped and if that goal counted on the Oilers, we would all be pretty pissed off.
Of course.
Like, there's been a handful of penalty calls and stuff this year that have gone the Oilers' way that I've been happy about. But that, man, if that was reversed, Oilers Nation, the comment section, would have been fired up with the whole fucking conspiracy. They go to review it in Toronto, and Toronto wants to screw us.
I would also argue that the third goal for
was just
Jersey
gonna
was
counter with
goaltender
that.
interference.
I would argue that as well.
Yeah, I would counter with that. I don't know why we didn't review it. We didn't mention that at all to the referees.
Especially the way that goalie interference calls go. But I
a
thought
shot.
that tying goal, I can see why it counted, and it was a goal on the ice, so there had to be significant evidence to overturn it. But, man, that was a 50-50 call that went the Oilers' way.
Why do you think they went and reviewed that for the Oiler goal?
I don't
What do you
know.
review? There's nothing to review at that point, right? Because the ref easily could have said, I meant to blow the whistle, as we've seen 100 times in the last couple of years.
Intent to blow.
Yeah, and then plays over, and he usually uses that to tell the coach, like, I'm not challenging. We're not going to look at this because I was going to blow the whistle.
Yeah.
He blew the whistle, didn't make a call behind the net, talked to the guys, skated out, then he called a goal. At that point, I knew it had to be a goal because there was no way, there was nothing to review at this point. There is no reviewing like, hey, when did the whistle go? You can just say, I meant to blow the whistle. So
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know
not sure what
why.
they were
I don't
doing.
know if he just went over there and said, hey guys, we're just going to sit here for a couple minutes to make it look like we're reviewing this something, but it has to be a goal based on all the precedents and the rules we have.
The NHL issued its ruling on that goal, and I'm going to read it to you guys. I'm not nearly smart enough to understand what the fuck they're talking about here. So, Tyler, put your lawyer cap on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read this to you, and you're going to explain it to me, okay? It was confirmed that Connor McDavid's shot completely crossed the New Jersey goal line as the culmination of a continuous play where the result was unaffected by the whistle. The decision was made in accordance with Rule 37.3, which outlines goal situations subject to video review, such as a puck entering the net as the culmination of a continuous play where the result of the play was unaffected by any whistle blown by the referee upon losing sight of the puck. Explain.
So I think what they might have been reviewing then after hearing that is whether or not Blackwood at any point had the puck covered at a point where a whistle would have been the proper time to blow the whistle.
Or if any other players would have given up on the play
Yes.
because of the
Yeah.
whistle.
Yeah, the reaction. There was no reaction to the whistle that
Right.
stopped the play from happening.
Basically what the ref is kind of saying in the moment was, yes, I blew the whistle, but I blew it too early. And the
Story of my life, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Fucking, I just totally lost my train of thought. I don't know. The ref shouldn't have blown the whistle early, and he basically looked at it and was like, fuck, I screwed up. So then he changed the call.
You know
I
what's
don't know.
really
I'm
funny though is how Taylor Hall's reaction was when he got interviewed in the dressing room. He was actually on the side of the Oilers in this case.
Maybe he forgot what team he's on.
Right? No, the dude, like I'm telling you, he was like, because you should have said no, like the whistle went, but whatever, just stand up for your side and say whatever, I don't care, nothing, just no goal. But he's like, oh, I understand where they're coming, and said that exact thing. I understand where they're coming from, and you know, you could still see the puck, and I kind of get why they call it a goal. Like if that's not a guy who's got a little crack in the door to come home, come on,
Yeah.
No.
that dude is not going to be a Devil next year. Let's just say that.
Do you think that McDavid's finally getting like golden boy
Yes.
clout?
Yes,
That's
I
a
think
great
that's a great
point.
point.
Like if Cassian stuffs that goal in, I don't think it counts. I think the ref's like, oh, you probably moved the goalie.
Well,
Like,
yeah, we've seen it this season already. McDavid's drawn more penalties
Right.
than he ever has in the past.
Last year was like
been mind
after a
blowing.
month, Warren Fogle had drawn more penalties than McDavid, and
Well-
finally this year, like there's a lot of calls where McDavid's getting his way, and it's fucking awesome to see. Like that's the shit that can be the difference between you making the playoffs and not, as an extra power play a game.
It kind of feels like Edmonton has shifted into that. Even just the team has shifted into that respect level of maybe the referees, where they're going to tinge towards the Oilers, which is phenomenal to think about, even just for a moment. But yeah, like because who were we playing? The Kings. The Kings were always a team where the referees would err on the side of LA, and boy, howdy have they not done that.
And the best part about that game, if I remember correctly, the first three penalties, or two of the first three penalties of the game for the Kings, went to Doughty, Kopitar, Carter. Three guys who could, like them and Ryan Kessler, got away with murder for the last 5 years against Edmonton.
They could never do anything wrong. Hey Nick, want to pass us all a beer, please? All
Fresh
of us.
beers coming around.
That's why I'm here.
Another reason that the Oilers
Ryder
are obviously
slams his. He's like, oh shit, there's more coming.
morning host, man. You can't drink with us.
I got the next 3.5 days off.
Good for you.
There you go.
I was gonna say, radio people drink more than you can go at the radio station I work at in 3 different rooms and have a fridge with beer in it. I'm good, thanks, Nick. I have to work tonight.
He says as he turns down.
Radio guys
too.
are hardcore. No, I'm good. I'm just gonna have my juice.
I'm gonna be responsible.
Being responsible is no fun. You know?
If I didn't work tonight, I'd have another one. But
What are you doing?
University of Alberta Golden Bears hockey with Dustin Nielsen, the host of 2 Guys and a Goalie.
Wow. Another thing I want to talk about is obviously the 4-0 record is big. It's huge. The Oilers haven't done it since 2008, 2009, which don't look up how that season went, by the way. Just like enjoy the start for what it was.
That was the Happy Bullen year?
Was it?
It seems right.
It's got to be like the math
he,
checks
he
out.
went nuts in the first little bit.
Mm-hmm. And then he went nuts in the later part as well. But, you know,
Different kind of nuts.
we got to talk about James Neal. How can we not talk about James Neal? Last year with the Flames, he had 7 goals in 63 games, and this year he's got 7 and 4 with the Oilers. This is a heater that no one has ever seen before in this franchise. In fact, James Neal's 7 goals in his first 4 games of the season is an Oilers franchise record, surpassing the previous mark of 6 held by Wayne Gretzky and Glenn Anderson.
Never heard of him. James Neal, the real steal, James Neal. Unbelievable.
Ryder, I want to ask you about James Neal for Milan Lucic. A lot of people, in fact, I was doing my cruise hit on Wednesday. Grant Johnson said that all of us nation folk are being annoying with how much we're talking about James Neal. What are your thoughts on this?
I think other fan bases got so used to us pouting that they don't know what it feels like for even us to just be like level and not pouting. They're like, what are these Oiler fans are so annoying? Oh, I mean, this is a ridiculous start for a guy.
If we're good, I'm going to be horrible.
I'm going to be insufferable.
People are not going to like me.
But like when the Oilers are bad, no one is more negative and pissed off at them than Oilers fans. Like
Right.
no one hates the Oilers more than Oilers fans when the Oilers are bad, if that makes sense.
I've said it a million times, like, nobody can make fun of the Oilers better than Oilers fans. So if you're going to come in and say, well, you guys had so many first overall picks.
We know.
Yeah, we got it.
We got banners and shit made.
We're throwing parties for it, bro. We get it.
Yeah, no, Neal, I mean, when you're playing on a power play with who he's playing on a power play with, we really just needed a guy who would stand there and let it bounce off of him and go in, which is sad that we hadn't found another guy that could do that yet. So, but he's just showing, I think, how easy it is to play with the guys around him, too.
Even in that game where he had 4 goals, though, he scored a couple from way off to the side on his off wing and just kind of, he puts the puck on net. That's all we need. We need a shooter. We just need someone who's going to shoot. Shoot. And the other goal, he stood there in front of the net and deflected it. And the greatest part about that is he put his skate behind his stick. So if that thing missed his stick, it was going to go off his skate and in too.
Even last night, like his goal last night, guy's so hot, he is stealing goals away from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
It's the thick shaft. That's what got it. It was a thick shaft. Nuge shot and went off his thick shaft into the net.
You're suggesting a girthy route? Perhaps? Fortunately for James Neal, Nuge is such a gracious human being that he has no problem giving up goals.
It was a cool little moment, though, because you could see Neal celebrating as a goal scorer does, but then he let Nuge take the front handshake, so that's why or front high fives. So that's why the Oilers broadcast was like, did Nuge get it or did Neal get it?
As a play-by-play guy, James Neal, if you tipped that puck, please fucking be first in the flyby. No, man, you gotta. If you scored the goal, you lead the flyby. None of this cute shit, James Neal.
That's
You
friendship,
know what?
man.
I'm mad at James Neal now.
You know what kind of ship doesn't sink? Friendship. Thank you.
I just want to point out 08-09, it was actually Dwayne Rollison was the goaltender for the Oilers that year.
Rolly.
He played 63 games.
Who's the other goalie that year?
Mathieu Garon and Jeff Delorier.
Ruan Delorier.
Here it just says Jeff Delorier on Wikipedia.
Wow.
Got rid of the Drew.
Yeah, Rollison actually set 4 records that year for the Oilers.
Go ahead.
Oldest goaltender to play over 60 games. Most consecutive starts by Dwayne Rollison.
His own record.
That's a hell of a record.
And just most starts by an Oilers goalie. 36 starts in a row. Consecutive starts.
And the most by Dwayne Rolson.
Yes, exactly. Well, hey man, I'm just reading the Wikipedia page.
Well, it's sourced by everybody. You know it has to be true. Hit the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, so there you go. No Happy Bowling Night. Happy Bowling was the next year.
Unlucky. I think we kind of have to compare James Neal and Milan Lucic, right? At least I have to.
I see. I'm like I agree. Bag milk. We got to talk about it, but I think we can now just be happy with James Neal after this.
No, I don't think so. I've got a whole bit planned for the entire year
Yes,
that
you
I'm
do.
going to keep grinding them down. If you haven't followed me on social media, you should. What the fuck's wrong with you? I'm going to send a thank you card to the Flames head office every time James Neal scores. So today we're going to start filling a couple of these out. We have 7 to do. I've got my first one lined up. It is a nice little haiku I wrote here just for the Calgary Flames. Count the syllables if you like, Tyler.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
How did they go?
Is it 575?
Good for you. The real deal, James Neal.
Yeah.
Good. Stolen from the godless Flames. Tyler's counting.
Yeah.
Fill the net, Daddy.
Yeah, if you say daddy's two syllables.
Fill the net, Dad wouldn't have worked.
No.
And that's
No.
something hopefully you'd never say. Come on, Dad, fill the net.
Ryder fits in just fine at this table.
So there is thank you
Fill the
card
net,
number
Dad.
1. If you're a dad out there and you want to fill the net, but you know what? You do you. Ryder's not judging you. He's just judging
Hey,
me.
Dad, you gonna fill the net tonight?
In 4 games, James Neal has 7 goals, 15 shots, an amazing sustainable 46.7 shooting percentage.
I can't stop laughing at fill the net, Dad.
On the flip side, former friend Milan Lucic has
Not
1
filling the net,
shot
Dad.
in 4 games.
That's 15 shots versus 1.
He took subtle jabs at us on his way out of town. So I think if this
Not
year,
so subtle jabs, by the way.
well, there were subtle ones and there were not so subtle ones.
Yeah.
But if Oilers fans want to go at him this year, I say for this year, fucking go.
Well, like I was saying with James Neal, like just to play with those guys and be ready and be a natural goal scorer, he's getting the job done. Lucic at times when he was playing with the big guys would look like he's playing with his stick upside down. Like,
Oh, no
He-
doubt.
grenade.
Great point.
like you would miss the puck completely with his stick. He wouldn't touch it. And you're like, all you had to do was push it in the net there.
Yeah, he was in the slot one time in Calgary this season, and he missed the net by about 3 feet. He had got the puck wide open by himself, and he shoveled it to the left of the net. So it's absolutely tough to watch. Neal's in the exact same spots that Lucic was,
Right.
and he's putting the puck in the net. Yeah. So I get it. Like I said, I'm so happy that we have James Neal, and we don't have to be the guys that are trying to sell the fact that, oh, Lucic is going to fight, so that makes it a worthwhile deal to have a $6 million guy when Michael Haley signed a $700,000 contract.
You could have went out and got like Ryan Reeves for $2 million. You
Like,
could have done better.
At what point do you think the Calgary fans stop trying to defend the trade?
Well, that's a great question because we've done this rodeo song and dance for the last 3 years. Year 1, it worked. Year 2, year 3, oh boy, things are not good. And it's going to be interesting to see when that pendulum swings the other way.
Well, and to your point too, Bag Milk, like year 1 included playoffs. And that's when Lucic really was like Lucic. That's when we were excited to have Milan on the team. Even that season wasn't like barn doors blown off or anything. But now
20 goals, 53 points. It's a successful
it's
season.
not bad. Yeah, no, for sure. And so I think that's what Calgary's hoping for, praying for, is that they can get into the playoffs and then he shows up. That's their big thing.
You know what the Oilers fan equivalent of defending the Lucic thing for Calgary? People are still defending Adam Larson for Taylor Hall, man.
Oh yeah.
We're going to skip
Right?
ahead
Like,
to
that's it.
We're going to skip ahead to that point, but first I want to thank our friends at skipthedishes.ca for being a part of this. Again, Skip the Dishes. This is the 3rd week in a row that I'm going to plead with you to contact Arby's head office and get them on your fine platform. People like Rick and myself, we are happy to drive to an Arby's, but I would rather support a podcast sponsor, skipthedishes.ca, and have them meats brought to my door.
Have you seen those new sandwiches?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Come on. So I know I've told you this before. I know which one opens up. It says 10:30 online. I got there at like 10:25 once, and that thing was open already. I will be
In the
making
morning.
Yes, sir.
10:25 at an Arby's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I
beef
think
and shed's good
they may
anytime,
have opened
buddy.
at 10. So I'm on football Sunday. I like to have my food. I want to be on the couch by 11, and that's it. I don't want to do anything else. So I go out and get my food, whether I'm going to cook it, whatever. If I'm going to do some ribs, they're in the oven by like 9 o'clock in the morning.
I've never had a beef and cheddar for breakfast.
Are you an
buddy,
Arby's
okay,
guy? Are you
you
an
know what?
Arby's guy?
I am an Arby's guy.
Okay.
I sent Bagged Milk a little message there a couple weeks ago. I went, and this is when I found the one between 170 and 178. I think 100 First Ave.
That's my hood. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's, my,
I
that's
went
my
there.
that's my home court.
4 beef and cheddars and a chicken sandwich. I killed those in less than an hour. They were all gone by 11:30.
Oof.
Could you imagine how many beef and cheddars you would be able to have if they were on skipthedishes.ca?
I may have to just send them like every third paycheck.
That's what I'm saying. Please skip the dishes. We need you.
You would have one driver on rotation, just like rolling through every hour and a half on Sundays. The guy'd be like, Rick, got a fresh one. You'd give him a key to your house, apartment. I don't know where you live.
One more quick Arby's question. Have
Of
you ever
course.
tried one of the strudels with the soft ice cream on it?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So good.
Follow up the beef and cheddar with one of those.
They got the meats and they got the treats.
That's their new slogan.
It should be.
Yeah.
Is it actually? No, but it should be.
Skip
Okay,
the
we get the
dishes.
meats and we got the treats. Yeah.
I want to go ahead and also mention our friends at Mary Brown's for Ryder popping in on the show today. Big Mary Mondays is when their hero chicken sandwich is available. A whole Canadian grade A chicken breast, cooked golden brown and served on a sesame seed bun with cool mayo and crisp lettuce for only $3.99 plus tax.
I was also on their website today getting all this great product info from them.
brag.
And they have I have the internet
Good for you.
and access to a printer.
Congratulations.
They have a coupon. They have a coupon on their website, and it's like $4.99 or $3.99. Gets you 2 chicken sandwiches, and they look good. It's with their
Unreal.
Well,
Of course they look
the,
good.
the chicken there is great. So like put that in a wrap, and it's awesome.
Is it a
Perhaps you-
sandwich or a wrap?
Oh, sorry, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, not a sandwich. Sorry, two chicken wraps.
Mary Brown truther over here. I don't know what that means. Poor Tyler.
Tyler's having himself a day.
Thank you, Mary Browns. Very cool.
If you were listening to this right now, please send Tyler pictures of broken teeth and also motivational posters. He loves both of those things. And if you could go ahead and do him a favor to improve his life as the weekend continues into Thanksgiving, that'd be wonderful. His social media is at Tyler Yaremchuk on Twitter and at Taylor Yamchuk on Instagram.
Well, and the other thing that's making me mad is I can't drink at the season opening party tomorrow.
Well, you got to work
Are
tomorrow
you
too?
coming?
Well, I got to work. I'll come for a bit. Yeah. But I got to work in the morning.
I have to work too.
I know, but just let me get the
I
whole
also
story.
work tonight.
Me too.
And I'm on my second.
Okay, but you work at a bar. Like, it's not the same.
I like that it took you a while to get to there. Though.
I got to host a show tomorrow morning and do the pregame show, help do the pregame show with Handsome Tom. And then I'll come to the season opening party at the Lewis Estates Brewhouse. But then I have Thanksgiving with my girlfriend's family, and I feel like I can't show up bomb to that.
Here's some
But is
advice
your
from
child coming?
I'm a single guy. I'm going to take some advice from our guest Ryder as well. I think there's no better time to show up shitbag wasted to your girlfriend's house than Thanksgiving. Don't give them the highlight reel version of yourself. Show them what it's really like.
Also, this is a great long weekend because there's lots of wine and lots of turkey and not a lot of church if her family's into that. Whereas
Yeah.
like Easter, you can't get wasted or be hungover. You got church every 3 hours.
That's a good point. See, and I still feel like it's a little bit too early in the relationship for me to be hitting this and
You
be like,
have a son.
I don't have a child. That's my niece. I feel like it's too early for me to show up and like laugh and be like, I had a little bit too much to drink at that season opening party. Because I know if I go, I can't be a 1 beer or 2, 3 beers type of thing. It's going to be like get gunned at the season opening party.
But I feel like they would respect that they are work-related beers.
Yes. You were forced
Like
to
you were
drink them.
working.
I don't think they're the kind of
It was
people
to
that would
support
respect
the
that.
brew house.
A man of his career.
Yeah, you're a career guy. You're a company man. Earlier, you mentioned Adam Larson,
Yep.
and I have a question.
Okay.
If this defense holds itself together moving forward without him,
The answer is no.
does it make Adam Larson expendable?
No. You don't want to lose the veteran piece of this operation here. I think a right shot D-man comes available, and I think it's probably Matt Benning because he's being squeezed out by guys like Joel Pearson and Ethan Bear and soon to be Evan Bouchard as well. I think Matt Benning is the piece that you probably move, especially because like if you could subtract that $2 million cap hit, maybe you find someone to take Granlund. All of a sudden at the deadline, if you're still in the hunt, which I believe they will be, you could be in a position where you can add a forward then and have the money to do it. So I wouldn't make Larson expendable. I still think they need him when he's healthy. But I would say that I think Benning might be the odd man out.
You're referring to this season, though.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking the same thing. But if Pearson does what he's been doing right now and Bear's doing what he's doing, I think at the end of the season, then is when you kind of look at moving Larson. If that's what you guys want to do, I think you want him.
What do you want to do?
I love the guy.
You need a veteran piece on that blue line. You can't just
for
run
the playoffs. But what about starting this time next year?
You would still need a veteran guy, man. Like,
okay, but you've got
Clef,
Clefbaum,
Darryl,
Nurse.
Well, your left side, yeah, but I still want a veteran righty who you can just trust and throw out in shit minutes.
This time next year.
Yes,
I
still
don't
think
want
you
to move
need
in
it.
the summertime.
I still think you need it.
Okay, well I'll tell you you know who the guy you move right now? Chase on.
But he's not a right shot defenseman.
No, but he gets he
No,
opens
with that
up
attitude.
he opens up your cap space though. He opens up your cap space. I don't see how he's going to break the top 12 right now. He's not going to get offensive minutes. He's not killing penalties. He's
a
not
decent
fast
vet.
enough.
Is a team like Pittsburgh possibility for a place to land for Chase on?
Now we're talking. They owe us anyways because we gave them John Marino.
And Jolts. Huh?
And Marino's looking incredible, but they owe us a little bit. Yeah, take Chase on. I just want draft picks. That gives a little more space to open up and have
I don't
a
know
little.
if Pittsburgh has the room to do that, though.
Ryder, do you think a guy like Larson should be wary of his job if kids like Ethan Bear, Joel Persson, Matt Benning can do the job without him?
I think he's proven to be in there, whereas the other three are gambles. So, no, I wouldn't gamble on that. I wouldn't gamble on two out of those three becoming full-time, for sure, solidified NHLers, and we know we have one already with Larson.
I think this is a huge grain of salt that we're looking at a 4-game sample size.
Of course.
But if Bear and Persson maintain the levels that they're at right now, I think we have the ability to make that move. It depends on the return, of course, and everything, but we're talking hypothetical here. We're talking Coombs hypothetical level of stuff where I think it's okay that you shed that $4 million. You shed that $4 million of salary and you go out and you find another guy that, maybe is your second line right winger going forward.
Oh, man, I'd just be so hesitant that one of those young guys would hit a snag. And I know that they're playing good right now without Larson in the lineup, but it's a 4-game sample size. And I like the point Ryder made.
And I'm just referring to, I would not do it this year because you want him for the playoffs because I still believe we're going.
Good for you.
Next summer, though, is when I would consider it because at the end of the day, you're going to be left with the exact same issue we have right now on the left side where you have a $4 million third pairing defenseman.
But that's okay if your top 4 is on the right side is on ELCs because it's still
and
affordable.
That's fine. So in the summer, you'd move Benning. If things keep going the way they are right now, you'd be okay with going Bear, Persson, and Larson as your righties next year?
Yeah, or Bear, Bouchard, Larson.
Okay, and that's fair. Yeah, Bouchard, whoever put in there.
Whatever.
Is there any way it's Bear, Persson, and Bouchard? I mean, we're just talking right now.
Certainly a way, yeah. The other thing, too, you got to remember a lot of money opens up this summer. And you'd also be hoping that with 1 year left, you can move Chris Russell.
Well, I think Russell's gone this spring, if not this summer. Trade deadline time, I guarantee, whether it be Lagesson or Caleb Jones, one of them is going to be pushing the envelope come Christmas, and you're going to have to be forced. We're going to have the luxury of being able to move a Russell at that point.
Well, and that's kind of where I was going with it as well, is in the summer, I don't want to move both of Russell and Larson because, again, you don't want to get into a spot where you have a guy hurt next year or something and then you're getting thin again. You have the depth, so keep some depth. If Pearson's your 7 next year because you kept Larson, I'm okay with that. And if on the left side your third pairing D-man's Jones because you moved out Russell, I prefer that than moving Larson. I know the value's different and all that, but I don't know. I'd be too hesitant. I'm a hard no on moving Larson.
Sign the ticket, send it into the management. We're all on board. Get Russell out. We'll roll with Larson.
Yeah, there you go. If you're going to
go.
move a vet, you try to move Russell. And unless some team blows the doors off with an offer for Larson, kind of like what New Jersey got for him, then you're probably not moving him.
James Neal, thank you card number 2 from myself. Ryder, I encourage you to write one out. Dan is working on one as well. James,
can I do one?
Of course you can, my friend. Here's one for you.
If we all do it at the same time, though,
It'll just be quiet.
it'll be really quiet.
That's
I
okay.
can
I
count
got
syllables.
We'll hold the microphones right by the marker so you can hear things being done.
Here I've got James Neal goal number 2, thank you card for the Calgary Flames. I am saying you are the sunshine of my life. Thank you for making my life beautiful again. Thank you for James Neal. I love you.
I'm not technically filling one out per se right now, but mine would be something along the lines of, so it's like it's very Oilers Nation-y. It's going to say, sorry about the shovel.
We brought it back. We
The
brought
red one?
Yo, yeah. Remember
And what did we do with it?
No.
We swapped it for the good one.
Well, yeah.
Okay, sorry about the shovel. We'll bring one down in January.
Right.
Thank you for Mr. Neal. Hope the penalties work out for you guys.
I just want to go ahead and say that Cameron Lewis is responsible for the shovel and try and get him.
And I'm just kidding. I'm not very sorry about the penalty minutes. I hope they kill you guys.
The
Try and
extradition laws from Northern Ireland are not good for Calgary.
Dan, you have got a thank you card.
do.
What have you got for
So-
goal number 3?
So this will take you back to the 1990s, I think. Dido?
Oh, nice.
Does anybody
for you.
remember
With
Dido?
Eminem?
All the things you said running through my head. No,
No,
that's tattoo.
That's tattoo.
Same
That's-
amount of letters.
That's a very different.
Dido
very
was
different
in
kind of
that
vibe.
Eminem song.
Stan.
Yeah.
So this is. I want to thank you for giving me one of the best trades of my life.
Oh, I like that.
That's good. That's good.
That's very nice. Ryder's working away. Tyler's working away. Looking at the Oilers schedule coming up, tomorrow we have our season launch party at the Brew House in Lewis Estates. Tickets are still available. We have got a dope-ass party t-shirt for this year. You're going to want to get one. Tickets are only $15. We're raising money for the Stollery. They are playing the Rangers. On Monday, they are playing the Blackhawks. Then they come home for a pair of games, one against Philly, one against Detroit on Friday, and then they finish up in Winnipeg on Sunday, which means flight to Fargo, North Dakota, long bus ride into town. Boys, get your rest on Saturday night because it is a long bus ride into Winnipeg on Sunday.
Aren't all those teams you just mentioned relative playoff bubble teams? Chicago,
Well,
Philly.
that's what I wanna
Detroit.
ask.
Like, I not want to get ahead of myself here, but I kind of do. We can do some serious damage before, we have Washington here in a Thursday in like 2 weeks. We can do some serious damage if these guys keep doing what they're doing right now.
If you're in the playoff hunt, though, you're sitting there and going, every game is winnable.
Of the
In
Has to be
today's
that way.
NHL, right?
Has to be that way.
Of the first 8 matchups, only one of the teams, the Islanders, has been in the playoffs. I think that's what the numbers are.
And they're not
We're in the
looking good
playoffs
this
last
year. So.
and we thrashed them.
And we got to be excited. We just have some points in the pocket right now.
Yep.
Like, what we're doing right now is just getting ahead of the course we're supposed to be taking. I'm jacked up. Like we got room to play right now. We have room for and I don't want to say it. We have room for a bad game or two.
This is my
Tyler
card.
has got goal number 4 or
This
5.
is my thank you.
Whatever we got. Thank you card for James Neal coming
Yeah.
from Tyler Yaremchuk.
In case you haven't noticed, we're sending your organization a card for every goal James Neal scores. Please don't return the favor and send us one for every penalty that Lucic takes. Best wishes.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice. Good for you. That's
a little
really
best
good.
wishes in there too.
That's
That's
practical.
Good. That's good.
That's practical.
Best wishes.
Okay, I'm ready.
Best wishes.
We have Ryder over on the end of the table with his thank you card for James Neal. Ryder, my friend, go ahead.
It's a lengthy poem.
Please.
If you guys could just do this afterwards.
Of
if
course,
you like
yes.
it.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for taking Lucic off our hands. We'll throw in our other stadium if we can. Good luck with big boy Milan. Suck on it, Flames fans.
Oh,
Ooh.
Thanks.
There you go. Very nice.
that's really nice.
Very
That
nice.
is really,
And I'm
really
sure the
nice.
snapping sounded
Did
good
you
to
practice
everyone.
that? Was this in the holster before? Did you come up with it on the spot?
Just on the spot. Took
You're
a
an
little bit
artist.
longer
You're an
than
artist.
you guys,
You're
but
an artist.
That's what happens when you do Flower Shop Friday every week. You know,
you
This
learn how to
guy.
write poetry.
get used to it.
Of course, you can listen to this kind of poetry on Power Mornings with Ryder and Lisa from 5:30 to 9 on Power 107. This guy coming in hot with the poem. Another thing I want to mention is, Ryder, you're not just here for your health. You are here to talk about the media challenge that you are taking a part of on October 16th at the ATB Financial Arts Barn, Westbury Theatre. Tickets are available for at ticksonthesquare.ca. Tell us about this event.
I think there's only like 6 tickets left.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
it is a competition with, I think there's 10 media personalities, radio, TV, newspaper. Is there still newspaper left? I didn't mean to start that fight.
Crickets. There we
No,
go.
I just meant, was there any competitors in newspaper that are left in the competition? And I don't think there is.
Dave Breckenridge doing that still?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Newspaper guy.
All right, so he is still in it.
So you are going
don't
up
think it's
and
in it.
doing some stand-up.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a 5-minute set. Last year I did it, and I just went up
Crushed
there
it.
for the
Crushed
first.
it.
Oh, did I? Thank
I was
you.
there, man. I was. You were shafted in the voting.
Wow,
There was some politics going on behind the scenes.
I never tried it before, so that was just first off. So this year I decided to commit a little time. So I've been out the last few nights hitting the local comedy scene in town and trying my set. And I just want to give a shout out to the local comedians in this city. I thought I was going to be dealing with some egomaniacs that are pissed off that this radio guy gets a 5-minute set on like some of the better comedy nights in town, but they've all been awesome and supportive and thrown suggestions my way about like what to do with my hands because I just had them in my pocket. Just really cool people all around, including Sterling Scott. I want to give him a shout out, who he set me up with a bunch of gigs. He just won the San Francisco Comedy Festival, which is apparently the hardest comedy festival to win in North America. So big ups to him. He's an Edmonton boy. But yeah, so I've been doing a few sets. The first one did not go good at all. There was only 2 people there, and neither of them liked me.
Oh, no.
So it was
Really? Where was it?
horrible.
Was it a comedy club, or were you at like
No,
a restaurant or something?
It was like a pub.
Okay.
Yeah, and well, there was also the other comedians, but they're so busy like writing and like thinking about their sets that it was bad. So I lost a lot of confidence there. But last night was awesome. I did Black Dog, the underground comedy night that they do, and it was packed with people laughing their asses off. And the other comedians felt the vibe too, so the room was just lit by the time I got on stage. So.
Like, you're a guy that's used to talking into a microphone, but is it a completely different experience when you're up in front of a bunch of people trying out jokes that came out of the top of your head that you're trying to work through?
Totally. Like knowing what to do with my hands, for instance. And often I've like emceed a ton of events, but usually there's a podium and then there's somebody to throw it to. So if a joke bombs, you're like, okay, and over to you with the bridesmaid speech or whatever, right? Whereas this, you're just kind of out there on a limb, and if it doesn't hit, you got to be ready to rumble with that, next tee up for a joke. It's pretty stressful, but
I know last year they were supporting free footy. Is that who they're doing?
yeah,
this
they've
year?
got another charity involved, and I think it might be the same one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it should be good.
It totally is a different beast, though, having people like look at you. I've even noticed that like when I do like an event at the brew house with like 20 people there and I like crack a joke and like you can tell no one's really paying attention to you. You're just kind of like, oh, fuck, this is the worst thing ever. Whereas on the radio, you say a shitty joke and it's like, well, commercial.
Well,
song,
I always
next,
think
right?
people think I'm funny when I'm on the radio.
Me too.
Like, I think I nailed it every time. And I know there's a lot of radio people that are like in their own head. They never think they've done good enough. I'm very content with my product most of the time because I always have just assumed the best. But then you get out there in front of people, you're like, oh, they really don't
Real
like
feedback.
that joke.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know your co-host Lisa is also participating in this as well. Are you two competitive at all, or are you supportive of each other?
I think more supportive than competitive, but I think the competitive nature of the fact that it's a contest has actually motivated both of us to try even harder. Like, if I don't win, I want her to win.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
But you would prefer to win.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good mix.
It is neat to see though. Like going last year, everybody that got up there was even a few people that kind of bombed out, but
Right.
But like the crowd isn't merciless.
Oh, they're so supportive in that room. And that was another eye opener is when you go to an actual comedy club where people are expecting to laugh instead of hoping to laugh.
Yeah.
No, it's been a really fun experience. I think it might be this kind of thing that I do on the side. Like, not very seriously, but more and more. I really enjoy it.
How many warm-up sets have you done so far?
4 sets so far.
Yeah, and do you feel progressively better each and every time?
Yeah, I think the Black Dog one felt the best last night. And then I was at another one. I don't know how much I could say about this, but like there was just weed smoke everywhere in there. And so I was busting jokes, and like half of the people in there were like still looking at me and like, do I know that guy?
They just started laughing today.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah, they're
It
starting to
registered.
get it.
It registered.
So it was just a unique room, but everyone's been so different that you have to learn, and that would come with experience, how to just entertain the room differently based on who's there. Like, a lot of my set is on the fact that both of my brothers had adult circumcision this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the one crowd I did was to mainly ladies.
Nice.
And I have jokes on like foreskin getting a lot of hate, and in 2019, and the fact that I'm going to start a walk to end foreskin hate. It's called the Natural Cox Rock Walk.
I like that.
And our mascot is a calamari. And the women in the audience were really grossed out by the Calgary line, and the guys love it. They think it's the funniest shit ever. So you just kind of got to tailor to your room a bit. So I've got 2 sets, and I can go either way with them. I'll push it a little bit off the start and then ease back on it if it doesn't seem like the crowd's digging the.
Are you gonna try and decide which set to go with as you watch the other guys go first? Like, are you gonna try and okay, I see the crowd is reacting to this, but not something like this, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I'd imagine there is like a bit of a method to it, right?
B?
For sure. Yeah. And if the loud laughers are girls and they're digging the daughter jokes, I've got some stuff about my 7-year-old that are super appropriate and make me look endearing. But if the crowd is eating up the other stuff, I can go pretty offside with it.
So, Ryder, are you gonna fight for us bloggers to be considered a part of the media?
There was a blogger in it last year. Don't ask me his name; I forget. But there was. So you guys could get in on that.
Well, there you go.
Talk to Andrew Gross. He's
milk?
the organizer.
You going up on stage?
Yeah, I would do it. That'd be fun.
There you
So
go.
looking at the roster this year, there's Mark Connolly from CBC. Trent Wilkie is a freelance writer. Narman Isa, love her from CTV. Lisa Evans, of course, is your co-host. Ryder, though I do notice they have the wrong station on here, my friend.
Yeah.
We won't throw them under the bus for that. Amy Amato from Up 99.3. James White from Cruise. Dave Breckenridge from The Sun. Courtney Terrio, hilarious from City TV. Rob Pepper from 91.7 and Jenna Winterburn also from 91.7. Is there anybody there that you do not believe you are funnier than? Because I'm looking at this list and I think you got it, man.
I think, yeah, me too. I was reading that off. I dig Mark Connolly, but I think you're up there with Connolly.
Mark Connolly, I'm pretty sure won it the 3 years he was in it and then took last year off. So he's definitely a favorite. Pepper does a lot of stand-up, and so does Jenna.
Pepper's been working on it.
They both hit the clubs on a regular basis, so they're good. I've heard Lisa's set; it's really good. And as far as relating to women, it's dynamite. She had the chicks that were drinking wine at this one club that we warmed up at together. She had them dying. Nice. So she'll be a real competitor too. Yeah, no, I there's a lot of pretty talented people. I think the lineup's more stacked this year. It's going to be harder to win than last year, but
it's looking good, man. I'm excited for you. I wish that there wasn't a game that night. I would have loved to have gone to support you guys. Again, if there are still tickets available, it's ticksonthesquare.ca. Go check out Ryder and Lisa because they're going to be hilarious.
Well, and check back again. Apparently, there was rumors of a second tier of tickets, so I don't know.
They're withholding on us.
Yeah,
nice,
sneaky. And again, this charity is going to raise money for free footy, as Dan said. So they're doing that again as well. I am looking forward to hearing about that, my friend. I appreciate you coming in today on this Mary Brown pop-in. I appreciate you dealing with Tyler's anger. He's very.
I think the room needed it.
Yeah.
It felt like there was some good vibes over here. We needed the mix.
Well, I was going to say, I would love to be like, oh, man, usually I'm not this salty, but I'm always like this.
Awesome.
Which was my favorite because you made a comment on, I think it was an Instagram post where they're like, oh, Tyler doesn't like donairs. And he's like, yeah, or you could just not bug me about it. And I was like, you know what? I don't think you would let anybody off the hook for something like that if it was something you liked.
Have you ever
when
heard
I
of it?
saw you say that, I got a good chuckle.
No, if there's something I like and if someone's like, oh, man, I hate that, then I'm usually just like, all right, your problem. Okay.
Ryder, have you ever heard of somebody living in Edmonton that does not appreciate a donair?
My co-host refuses to eat them sober, but I think she really likes them drunk.
Well, I can appreciate that, though.
Yeah.
What did you call them on Real Life? You just called it salt or a soggy nothingness or something like that.
I don't remember. I spew a bunch of shit.
Tyler,
the table's going to go up to the fucking roof next time I come in.
I think the moral of the story here is that Tyler hates fun and flavor.
Yep.
Tyler,
Absolutely.
Tyler, you're not going to a family dinner with a little bit of a buzz on. Mm-hmm. Are you going to come into that family dinner as hot as you came in today?
Throwing around tables.
Turkey fucking sucks.
Why is your table so high?
My chair's really uncomfortable. Yeah, maybe.
I'm telling you, man. Don't show him the highlight reel. Show him the real Tyler.
Yeah, my girlfriend definitely knows the real Tyler because I get angry a good amount. Not angry. Angry is a bad way to describe it. Grumpy. I get in grumpy moods very easily. Little things will trigger me. Like Ryder said off before we started recording, he said, whoa, easily triggered. And it's like, yeah, yes and no.
Has she asked you to change your normal behavior? And has she asked that you bring the highlight reel with you?
No,
Like
no.
to the family?
And she knows that she doesn't need to be like, hey, be on your best behavior around my family. Like I have good enough social skills to know like when to just be positive all the time.
Is she going to the family going, hey, don't bring up this, don't bring up this, don't bring up this or this or this?
Well, like I never get like grumpy at her parents, but there'll be times where like she'll be talking about something and I won't like it, and I'll just kind of like stare at her, and her parents think it's hilarious. So I think they kind of understand the bit almost.
The man's got the look.
I can't wait till like, are your family, are they grumpy as well?
Oh my God, I can count on one hand. Okay, if you take, because my sister had a child, so now my dad's a grandpa, right? So he's a different human being around then. Before then, I could count the amount of times I've had like a physical interaction, like a hug or like an I love you with my dad. I could count it on one hand. I'm not even kidding.
You know what?
I have like a very tough Ukrainian dad.
That's a generational thing, though.
Sure.
Like my dad cannot believe how like lovey I am with my daughter, as far as like hugs and telling her I love her. And he's just like, to him, he's like, what? Where did you learn to parent like this? Because I think for the previous 15 generations, the men were expected to be tough and the man of the house. Whereas now we have an opportunity to like be loving.
Sure.
It goes a long way.
My dad was just visiting from Nova Scotia, and when he was leaving the morning after, and I wasn't gonna be able to give him a ride, so I was going to bed beforehand. And we had to like agree that we were going to do a hug before we
Nice
said
negotiation.
goodbye. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it
the
was a
most
whole
loving thing my dad said to me, I bought a house here in Mill Woods, a pretty nice place.
Ryderville.
He walks in, looks at the whole house, and I'm like waiting for that compliment. Really?
Yeah,
Like,
you
hey,
did it.
nice work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this was post-divorce, too. The fact that I bounced back and didn't end up in like a basement suite.
Exactly, man.
And he just said, the museum called, they're interested in your washer and dryer. And then he left. That was
Nice.
it.
Well,
That
did
was
you get a
all.
new washer and dryer?
I had to. About 3 months later, the old pieces of shit broke down.
Here's another random, like, if any of my buddies are listening to this, they're probably dying because they have so many Ross stories. Like, my dad's, he's funny in like a weird, dry way, but me and my dad, we've been splitting season tickets with people like my whole life. So I've like grown up going to like 10, 15 games a year with my dad.
Unbelievable pranks here.
Well, I'm going somewhere with this though. So he loves the Oilers, never misses a game or anything, but he will never, ever stand up for a goal. Like, he just sits, and the whole game.
Does he clap?
Nope. Sometimes. Actually, if Connor does stuff now, he claps.
Okay.
But I could count again on one hand the amount of times he stood up for a goal during the playoffs. And I remember when David Desharnais scored that OT winner against the Sharks, I had like granted a handful of beers, and I think he did too. But he scored, and my dad stood up, and I was like, oh my God, he's standing. And then I like turned, I put my hands on his shoulders. I was like, oh my God. Then we both like realized like, whoa, we were like smiling and looking at each other. So we just like turned back to the ice.
What's going to happen when we win the Stanley Cup?
Oh man.
Hug him.
You
Like-
might actually get a hug.
I might honestly get a hug.
Like,
Like,
3 seconds.
I'm-
And like dad's going, 1 Mississippi,
Still got
2
that-
Mississippi, 3 minutes. Okay, done. Go away.
Yeah, they'll just do that thing where they hug and then they look at each other and then quick fist bump and then sit back down.
But like we spent so long, obviously, like going to games and like, you know, it's February 22nd and they just got pumped by the St. Louis Blues 5-1 in 2011, right? Like so many miserable games. And like walking into that first playoff game in 16-17 with him, like we didn't talk. We don't talk when we go to games together, unless it's like
What is happening right now?
we just like we sit quiet in the vehicle, listen to whoever's doing a pregame show. We walk in silent. I stand outside. He has a dart, and I stand there.
Can we please bring your dad in for the next week's episode?
God.
Man, have
My
like
dad,
an
if
intervention here.
he could let loose, on a podcast, I promise you guys would fucking
Man,
be howling.
this needs to happen. This is therapy.
I just want to
And-
come and sit in for that podcast.
And yeah, like we'll just sit there quiet, and you'll get the odd like, "What the fuck is he doing?" or like, "What the fuck was that?" They're playing like shit.
Are you like fearful every time he like has like a burst like that though? Or are you just like, oh my God, I don't know how to explain
No,
this
because it's
one?
just my dad.
Fair enough.
Like it's just how I
Yeah,
know him. So
fair enough.
Sometimes I'll turn to him and be like, "They're playing pretty good today." He'll just be like, "Eh."
So Ross,
Yeah, he's
I
not
know you're
listening.
not listening to this, but if you are,
No, he
course
didn't
if
get
you
this
overhear
deep into
this
the
clip-
podcast. He might have started it.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't do the podcast. He doesn't know how that works.
That was like my dad. He's just like, how's work going? I'm like, great. Here's a link to the podcast I'm doing every Friday. And he's just like, why would anybody listen to you? I was like, wow.
Wow, it sounds like we were all raised by the same man.
Yeah.
I'm just as old as the rest of y'all, if not a little bit. Some of you guys, but my dad listens all the damn time. He listens to the Monday podcast too.
Wow.
I'll get texts from him every damn game. After the game, we'll always talk.
That's what love feels like.
Yeah,
I guess.
listen to this
Oh
guy.
yeah,
bragging about his
we've
love.
always been like
Interesting.
he's in Langley, so we've been separated for at least 12 hours apart for most of my life. But yeah, no, it's kind of I kind of enjoy it. I don't know what you
rub
guys
it
are going
in.
through.
Thanks, man.
Ryder, does your dad ever listen to your radio show still?
When they're driving through town,
Yeah.
but the last time he's like, yeah, no, the music sounded tinny, and I was it sounded tinny. What do you mean? He's like, I don't know. It just sounded tinny. The song I was listening to, I was like, the song. You listened to one song and then gave up on it for the rest of the 3-hour commute.
Flipped over to the
It's
chat.
not even when you're on air too. It's like the song that was playing.
Right. Yeah, I don't like your show. That one song.
Unbelievable.
When I finished my internship at TSN 1260, on the last day, my dad texted into the radio station, and it like almost made me cry because he was like somewhat heartfelt, but it like wasn't towards me. It was like thanking the guys for taking me and like giving me this. But it was like a pretty long message. And I was like, oh my God, he was listening this whole time.
I just love the idea of your dad being like, you know what? This has been a great show. I'd really like to thank Low Tide for the hard work he does. And Tyler's there too.
I feel like he I know I'm talking a lot about him because we're gone over time now, and I hate going over time, but I feel like he almost doesn't like my like persona on the air. He doesn't like the young kid who knows.
Are you
it
saying
all.
this is a character?
Well, I'm saying you take who you are and you crank it up a few notches, right?
Of course you do. Ryder, do you agree with that?
Low Tide, he's from Maidstone, right?
Yeah, good Maidstone boy.
Represent me too.
Have you ever met him?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh fuck. Well, then you got to meet because he has obviously tons of great Maidstone stories.
There's only 4. There's only 4 stories from Maidstone.
He has one where like a truck carrying certain things and also cigarettes like rolled over on the side of the highway when he was like 12 or 13, and him and his buddies ran and like looted it and like took all the cigarettes or something.
Good living in Maidstone.
And then he got in trouble for it.
It's the coolest Maidstone story ever.
I
he
camped
also-
in Maidstone one time.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Why?
terrifying.
Oh.
It was after season. They let us like stay in the campground, and then there was like these hunters that just came in and raided the campground, and they squatted down there too. Saved
Interesting.
themselves like $15.
Low Tide also has stories of like going to like the general store or something with just a note being like, I give my son permission to buy cigarettes, and he'd be like buying
Yep.
cigarettes.
I used to do that too. That's great.
Funny story, just to finish the Maidstone talk. That general store you were talking about was owned by Alan and Shelley. So it was the A and S. So, and the subs that they served there were Jolly Bun Fillers. So you could go and get a Jolly Bun Filler in the anus.
A&S. Yeah.
You say A&S fast, it's just straight up anus.
That's
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, go get
Marketing
a Jolly Bun
genius.
Filler if you're ever through.
One more time, just because that reminds me, the real deal James Neal, stolen from the Godless Flames, filled the net, Daddy. I want to thank Ryder, of course, for being here. Our special guest today is a Mary Brown's Pop-In. Bite-sized morsels of 100% breast meat, chicken coated in Mary's seasonings, and served hot, crispy, and oh so yummy. Tyler loves them in his little tummy. Choose Thai for a kick of sweet heat. Tops some sesame seeds. Go to marybrowns.com. They are delicious. They are great. I want to thank also our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant and at skipthedishes.ca. And I also want to give a very special thank you to Ryder for being here. Listen to him on Power Mornings with Ryder and Lisa from 5:30 to 9 on 107.1 on your dial. Follow him at Ryder FM on Twitter and Instagram. And go check out this stand-up he's doing, ticksonthesquare.ca, if there are tickets still available. That's coming out on October 16th. Thank you, my friend, for being here. Thank you for the beers.
You're welcome.
Unbelievable. Great to have you in the room. Great to have you all here. Thank you for listening. Please tell a friend about this. Tyler, hit the button.
Best wishes.
Shout out Damien.
Thanks for listening to Oilers Nation Radio, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media to stay up to date and never miss a podcast.